Well, welcome to Beans, Brews and Bread for the middle of May. Bit of a break since the last plot tour, the end of April. Things have been going on slowly but steadily there, the allotment, but we're sowing and growing for May, and it's, I think we skipped spring and gone straight into summer, so let's get some summer crops sown. Let's go and have a look. So we had quite a few things set off in the house, which we've now moved out into the greenhouse outside. The temperatures are pretty rarely less than at least 8 degrees, maybe 9 degrees of an evening. So most things now, like the tomatoes that you've started off, or if we started them late, you can get them outdoors now for outdoors and indoors growing. Some of the larger ones, which we started off from little mini plug plants from online. These were the Crimson family variety, so that's they're all started now. We'll go through and have a look, but various things that we've sown within the sort of last month or so, things like the courgettes. Got quite big into the Franchi Seeds of Italy this year, trying to think about a sort of Mediterranean style garden plan for the allotment and at home. So we've got quite a few of these, which we've got sown up now, and we're now put out into the greenhouse. We'll have a look through those. What we've gone for most now things are the tomatoes, the courgettes, the sort of curky bits, the cucumbers, that kind of thing. We're gonna have some at the house. Most of the things that can survive without constant attention get out the allotment plot. But really happy with some of these Franchi Seeds of Italy. We've got quite a few varieties that we've had a go on. This year we've got a few here. We've got the Bolognese, which is a sort of short, stubby courgette. Got a Lunga di Napoli, which is I think a bit more sort of like a butternut squash kind, which will also store over winter, so that's quite a nice one. We've got that one, massive fruits. If you look on some videos online, if we get those planted out in between the peas, maybe the borlotti beans, on a theme, they might romp away quite nicely. On a similar note, we've got the Tromba d'Albenga, the sort of the trumpet squash. Again, massively long fruits. The sort of thin end, more like a courgette, fat end a bit more like a butternut squash. Again, apparently you can eat them when they're quite fresh and green, but also they can be stored into autumn and over into winter. So we'll see if we can get a few of those stored as well. Now, this year I tried the idea of a few melons. We've got a couple of melon varieties here which did sow earlier, but they failed after on transplanting them all. I'll show you those in a minute, but I've got one here called Rampicante Zuccherino. Quite an old set of seed, these. Not entirely sure how these will go, but kind of now your last sort of May, your last date for those to be able to get anything, hopefully. And again, May, this one, Zata, which is an ugly looking fruit, but quite interesting. So we'll hope these will restart. I'll show you the seeds in a minute, which we've gone for those. But they kind of had a bit of wilt or something, which didn't really work with those. So we'll resow those and see if we can get any more. But if not, melons off the table this year. Other than that, tomato varieties again. It's these Franchi Seeds of Italy varieties. Trying to go for sort of heritage style, traditional varieties that they offer, and also one which I've had to kind of get separately after a bit of research and looking at a really good channel, which I'll probably put a link to below in the description. But it's Johnny's Kitchen Garden. He's done lots of stuff with sort of traditional Italian varieties on tomatoes and the like, and there's some great videos on that. So quite a lot of inspiration from watching some of his stuff to get this particular variety that I'm also going to try as well. It wasn't from Franchi Seeds, but that was from Golden Harvest Seeds. But yeah, these Franchi Seeds, great, loads and loads of seed in a packet, decent price for how much seed you get. I think compared to some of these other ones where paying quite a lot of money now for seeds, but you don't really get a lot, particularly if you get a F1 variety, maybe only 10 seeds in a packet. But these ones, an absolute ton of seeds, keep going for ages. We've got here just a box standard cherry variety. Forgive the temperature here, absolutely boiling today. Cherry variety, that should be quite nice, hopefully. We've got this one is the, I think, Principe Borghese. Now it says that this is one that you can, it's a middle-aged variety, vigorous cordon, producing meaty dry tomatoes with thin skin and few seeds. But online it also says they can actually be stored. Now this is something which is this other variety here, which I'll come on to next, is tomatoes that you can take, possibly just as the vines are starting to ripen, actually hang them up somewhere dry and airy. They can keep. So I'm going to try a bit of an experiment with those and see if we can keep a couple of trusses, see how long we can keep those without them going rotten. Now, another variety that you can do that with, and there's another video online which is of this one, which is the Vesuvio Pionello. Again, another one which they seem to hang up on ropes, little circular rings of rope, and hang them up in a barn after they've been picked, and they keep for a while. So again, try and keep the seeds saved of these. There wasn't a great deal of seed, only 10 seed of this variety, but again, a sort of heritage variety, which interested to see if we can keep that going over a couple of trusses, maybe keep maybe one or two over into autumn. And then after that we've got a red pear, which is a nice big beefy tomato, again from Franchi Seeds, mid-late, good produced, large fruits, meaty and tasty flesh with very few seeds. So again, hopefully we can get those going as well, so that'd be great. So a bit of a tour now. Obviously we've got some of the square foot planting as well, which we've been going on with. And we'll have a look at that next and then come back to some of the seeds and see how we're going with that now. So we potted up the chilies the other week, and we've got this mini greenhouse here which I've got two levels on, upper level and lower level, where we've got sort of the bell pepper varieties down on the bottom, because they'll probably produce the taller plants. And then we've got the second level, which is the sort of the chilies. Didn't have great germination on the super hot varieties this year. I did have one overwintered Scotch bonnet, and I'm looking to get that planted up fairly soon out. But these are the varieties that we managed to get sown successfully, germinate and potted on, all from January. So jalapeno at the back, looking quite nice. Bit of a twisted, and that's the only one that I'm afraid germinated, so I might have to save the seed from that one if it's a half decent plant. Here we've got a Chiang Rai, a sort of Thai style chili. We've then got a cayenne back here, a few cayenne, and then the one that went absolutely great guns last year was this Mirch Masala. This is a great looking plant. We've got these little side shoots coming up off this one already. We've got another jalapeno maybe at the back. Maybe I did have more than one plant. Who knows? Anyway, to get two out of that. Here another Chiang Rai again. This one, other than the one at the back, or the front rather here, does seem to have nice little side shoots coming. Does seem to have nice little side shoots coming off already. Cayenne at the back, and then we've got one singular Hungarian hot wax. This was definitely the one that only germinated, so we have got just the one of the Hungarian hot wax. Germination had been a bit patchy with that over the years, so hoping we can save some seed from that. On the bottom, we've got two varieties. We've got a red skin here, which is an F1 variety. I just wanted to get something a bit more secure in terms of the likelihood of a harvest this year. So we've got red skin there, two again on the other side over here. And here in the middle, kind of a sort of a later season variety by all accounts, is a Carino de Toro, and that one at the back is absolutely massive. already. I can't believe how well that one's going. So I'm hopeful that 2 Pino de Toro in there and 4 Redskin. So fingers crossed we'll get them probably up to at least this shelf here, and get some peppers and then the chilies at the top. Now looking at the square foot gardening, we had 2 harvests out of here of Chimi de Rapa, which we had with pasta, which was absolutely delicious. But what I've chosen to do with this minute is we've got 1 pepper, which is a Carino de Toro, 1 aubergine. Aubergines, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get much in the way of aubergines this year, so hoping a bit of protection here now. Not being in a greenhouse, these 2 might just do over summer. More soil and better feed, so fingers crossed that will work. And again, a little bit of an experiment. I've gone here with 4 Nero de Toscana kale, which I don't know, might let it go down to 1 plant in the end. I don't really eat a lot, and if we can get 4 plants here, keep them protected and keep an eye on them for pests, we might not need a great big massive brassica cage at the plot, and we can concentrate on more summer based plants and crops this year, and then maybe think about overwintering some cabbages when the weeds aren't so much of a problem. So that we might have some sort of very select number of cabbages at the house rather than at the plot, because I'm just thinking that the cabbage plot doesn't really work. It's just too big, gets too weedy, and really too unmanageable. Now we've got some spinach here, which has just had another harvest, so hopefully we'll get a few more off these. Salads in these little troughs. We've got some of those onion sets which we're using for spring onions. We've got some Italian lettuce varieties which we've sown here. Get these thinned in a bit. And then at the back we've just got some spring onions, which will pretty much get them to the end now. I think we'll get that converted over both those sections to some more lettuce. We've got the greenhouse varieties here which have just been potted on. We've got a couple of heritage varieties which I'm going to try and see if we can get squeezed in here. Space is going to be a bit of a premium, admittedly, I think this year in here, so I'm thinking maybe 7 plants. So I'm going to have to be a little bit selective. Showed you the Franchi seeds earlier. We've got the red pear here. Still waiting on a cherry to germinate. We might miss out on cherry tomatoes this year unless I can get one from the garden centre. But that has germinated, that red pear. So we've got 3. We've got 1 and 2 back up. We've got the Vesuvio Pianello here, the Vesuvio Pianello. 2 of those germinated. I've been a bit sparing with the seeds, so I've got 1 back up, 1 main, and then the Principe Borghese, 2 back up and 1 main. On the back we've got some Roma. We have got some Reisentraub, which is a heritage one from the Heritage Seed Library. Spanish Globe, which is also another one from the Heritage Seed Library. And Black Crim, which is from Save Seed. Great tomato that last year. That was by far our winner. It was only the only one that we grew last year, but that was absolute stellar performer. Got the Tromba del Benga, the trumpet courgette. Absolutely massive plants these already. These are in sort of 7.5 to 9 centimetre pots. So hopefully they'll be good until maybe the end of this month. Unfortunately, we didn't get any success. We got a wilt on these melon seeds, so I have just sown these back up again and hope we might get the melon. If not, that's it, done. And unless this one pulls through, which is looking it's touch and go, I'm not convinced. There are a few other varieties here. We've got the Genovese courgette, the bolognese, and the lunga di Napoli, which is absolutely enormous. Another big one. Absolutely great looking plant. Here we've got some Market More cucumbers, those 3, and then courgette romanesco, which have germinated really well. So we should be okay for courgettes this year. If you can just see these are, and I'm going to kick myself for not having labelled these up, but we've got the whole range of the Crimson Crush. So we've got a cherry, a plum, a salad, and a beefsteak tomato variety here. These are all outdoors, hopefully blight resistant, and we'll get these out at the plot this weekend because, as you can see up here, maybe just a little bit, they are starting to come into flower. So I need to get these out to the plot and get a space dedicated to them. Fingers crossed this will be the first time we get actual tomato plants at the allotment, not under cover, using these Crimson Crush varieties. Other than that, we have a few cabbages at the bottom, some of the kale that I did prick out. Then at the bottom, we've got these peas here, which is the Oregon sugar pod. I've got some at the plot already. I did a little follow-on sowing of these in some guttering. I can't move and store masses of guttering for that particular method, so I'm hoping that I can get a nice little row if I space these out a bit. But no, that's pretty much the sowing and growing for May. So that's shown a few of the things that we've got at the house, which are now potted on or just coming on ready to get out to the allotment or get planted out at home, where we can keep a bit of a closer eye on them. So a bit of a mixture between sort of the allotment plants and the ones which we can get in the square foot gardening plots or some of the containers or under actual cover if they're not entirely hardy or blight resistant varieties of tomatoes like the ones we've shown today. We're really excited now. You can actually feel summer's nearly here. We might have skipped spring. It's been a really weird season. We've not really been able to get down to the plots and get things weeded and planted out and all that kind of stuff. But now I think there's a real sort of sense of anticipation that we can try and get a bit of a season going now. Get some things. These hopefully quite big producing crops. We're not. I can get them quickly as well, which is another great thing as well. Not waiting for months and months for sort of the cabbages to heart up. And, I think try and steer away from looking at those in the early part of the year. Think about doing those over winter this year, concentrating on summer crops, get the best, tastiest produce we can as quickly as possible so we can get the ground used and get some useful harvests. I hope you've liked what we've shown today on what's sowing and growing for May. If you like the video, grateful if you give it a thumbs up. If you've got any suggestions or comments, particularly give us an idea what you're sowing. Are you doing anything different with your tomatoes this year? Pop it down in the comments below. If you haven't already, then add yourselves to the over 1,000 subscribers for the channel now. Thanks to everybody that's done and subscribed and pressed the bell icon so you get notified the next time there's a video. Thanks every one of you, newcomers, oldcomers, the old guard, you know who you are. Thanks for all your help along the way, and it's been really appreciated. But from an exceptionally warm mini greenhouse in the back of the house, that's bye from me, and see you next time. Bye!